Watch the sun die on one horizon, then watch it born on another. Same 2 days of the year, more than 15,000 kilometers of ocean between them. One ring of basalt in Victoria, one doorway of limestone on the south coast of Malta. The textbooks give these places different centuries, different peoples, and no reason to share a sky. If two building traditions that were never supposed to meet both cut the year with the same 3 suns, midwinter, midsummer, and the day the light balances, would you still call that 2 separate ideas? Stay with the stones. The stones are more patient than the caption. This channel already walked you past 10 sites that refuse the school timeline. This is not another list. This is 2 clocks, set side by side, until you can hear whether they tick together. The first clock sits off the little river, Ripley Road, at the foot of the Youangs, on country that belongs to the Wathaurong. The name you will hear is Wurdi Youang. The Indigenous Land Corporation bought the ground in 2000. In 2006, it went home to the Wathaurong Aboriginal Cooperative. Whatever else this film argues, it does not argue that these stones are orphan. They have people. What they also have is a shape you can measure, an egg, not a perfect circle, about 50 meters along the long axis. That axis runs east-west, about 100 basalt stones. Some are no bigger than a cooking pot. Some stand to a person's waist, a few toward 3/4 of a meter, held with trigger stones, as if someone expected the wind to argue. Lane and Fulligar, decades back, put the whole ring at about 23 tons. Nothing here is bedrock pretending to be a monument. Every piece could have been moved. The land itself is part of the machine. The ring sits on a slope that falls about 4 meters from west to east. The highest point is the western tip. There, 3 stones stand together, waist high, the trio you cannot miss if you walk the egg at dusk. West of that tip, outside the ring, lie other stones. Surveyors Ray and Scylla Norris, with Dwayne Hamaker, put a theodolite on this ground and published the bearings. From gaps in the western end, the setting sun at the June solstice, the December solstice, and the 2 equinoxes lands on those outliers to within a few degrees. The straight sides that open from the eastern tip do the same job. They point at the solstice sunsets. On the equinox, the sun goes down over the 3 prominent stones. That is not a vibe. That is a table of azimuths. A few degrees is not a laser. It is also not a cowpath. Random fieldstone does not repeatedly find midwinter, midsummer, and the balance day unless someone walked this slope at the right dusks and left a mark. How old is the mark? Here, the film has to be cleaner than the thumbnail. Dates from nearby camps have been used to float a figure as high as 11,000 years, which would put this egg among the oldest sky machines we have. The stones themselves have not handed over that number. The age of Wurdi Youang is still unproven. What is proven is the living culture that holds the site, and the survey that says the sun was not a guest here. It was a scheduled arrival. Now move the camera. Leave the basalt. Cross more than 15,000 kilometers of water the school maps paint as a wall. Come down on the south coast of Malta, a short walk from another giant, Hajar Team. 3 temples share a shelf above the sea. The one that matters for this hour is the South Temple at Mnajdra. This is not an egg of 100 small stones. This is architecture that has weight in the bones. Coralline limestone. Slabs a person cannot fake with a story. Doorways, apses, a passage that behaves like a gun sight. Built in the 4th millennium before the Common Era, 5,500 years in the ground, among the oldest stone temples still standing. No bronze, no iron. The same rule as Victoria. The rock was older than the metal, and the builders did not wait. On the mornings of the equinox, the rising sun comes down that passage and strikes the inner stones as if someone had drawn a line with light. Researchers have argued the same complex also answers the solstices, a seasonal instrument, not a single holiday trick. You can stand in that doorway in March or September and watch the year declare itself without a priest explaining it. One site watches the sun leave. One site watches the sun arrive. Same 3 appointments. That is the match. Not a fairy tale about 2 rings with the same diameter. Mnajdra is not 50 meters of basalt. Anyone who sells you that number for Malta is selling a thumbnail, not a tape measure. The diameter does not travel. The calendar does. Look at how both places work when you stop comparing floor plans and start comparing jobs. Job 1. Find the standstill of the sun. Midwinter, midsummer. The days the sun stops walking the horizon and turns around. Wurdi Youang marks those deaths of the light on the western sky. Mnajdra takes the births on the eastern sky. A culture that needs to know when to move, when to gather, when the dark will stop growing, will invent this job if it watches long enough. Two cultures that invent the same job with stone and no metal on opposite sides of a planet still have to answer why the job looks this tidy. Job 2. Mark the balance. Equinox. Day and night sharing the clock. At Wurdi Youang, the equinox sun sets over the western trio. At Mnajdra, it walks the corridor. Balance is harder to notice than midwinter. You do not feel it in your skin the way you feel the shortest day. You have to care about the middle. Both sites cared. Job 3. Use the land as the instrument. The Victorian egg is not flat. The 4-meter fall is the viewfinder. The Maltese temple is not a sculpture dropped on a postcard. It is aimed at a horizon over water. In both cases, the builders did not fight the ground, they hired it. Job 4. Do it without metal. Basalt cobbles and trigger stones in one country, dressed limestone slabs in the other. Different grammar, same refusal to wait for a Bronze Age that had not arrived or would never arrive in that form. The textbook likes to keep megalithic in the Mediterranean and arrangement in Australia, as if the words protected the timeline. The sun does not read the textbook. Now the part the comments will try to finish for you. People will say, same sky, same brain, no meeting required. A human being with enough dusk and enough patience will find the solstice anywhere there is a horizon. That sentence is not stupid. It is the official off-ramp. Take it if you want. This film will not slam the door. People will say the other thing. That knowledge moves. That a way of cutting the year can ride in a hull, in a marriage, in a story, in a memory older than the pottery styles we use to keep continents apart. This channel exists because that sentence will not stay in the corridor. What the two sites will not do is prove a lost airline. There is no basalt passport in a Maltese apps. There is no limestone chip in the Youyangs that says Malta. Anyone who tells you the diameters are twins is hoping you will not walk either place with a survey. We will not do that here. What they will do is sit in the same sentence without embarrassment. A Waterong stone egg that aims at 3 sunsets. A Maltese temple that aims at the matching sunrises. More than 15,000 kilometers. No metal in the toolkit. A landscape turned into a clock. If you have been taught that Australia's deep past is walkabout and Malta's deep past is Europe's preface, these two clocks are an inconvenience. The inconvenience is the point of ancient dreaming. Stay on the Victorian ground a little longer. The first written notice of Wurdi Youang is late, a proposal in the 1970s. For a site that may be ceremonial, may be a calendar, may be both, that silence is not emptiness. It is what happens when a colony writes the maps and the people who already had the maps are not asked. The survey that finally treated the egg as an instrument came in this century. Hamaker and the Norrises did not invent the sunsets. They asked whether the stones already knew them. The table said yes, close enough that chance looks tired. 3 waist-high stones at the high western end. Remember them. On the nights the year is cut in half, the sun goes down on that trio. You could teach a child the calendar with those 3 backs against the light. You would not need a priest from another hemisphere to invent the idea. You would only need the idea to matter. On Malta, the teaching aid is a doorway. Children of that island, 5,000 years ago, could be walked into the dark and shown the first blade of equinox. Different classroom, same lesson. There is a temptation, on this channel, to drag Peru into every comparison because the andesite at Sacsayhuaman photographs like a dare. That dare already had its minutes. Polygonal walls are not a solar egg. If we need the Andes later, There is a ridge of 13 towers at Chankillo that does the honest version of this job. A horizon comb for the year, 2,200 years old, stone again, metal again absent. It is a cousin of the idea, not a twin of the Victorian ring, and it is not this film. This film has two faces. It will not blur them to make a thumbnail scream. Ask the distance again, slowly. 15,000 kilometers is not a number the body understands. It is London to somewhere the map falls off. It is a flight that never ends in the century that built these temples. The people of the Youangs and the people of Mnajdra, in any orthodox telling, do not borrow cups. They do not share a word for sun. They share, if they share anything, the habit of making the year visible so it cannot lie. Why make the year visible in stone? Because seasons that arrive as a surprise can starve you. Because ceremony that misses the day can break a people. Because the sky is the one clock no elder can be accused of inventing. Plant a stone where the sun sits down on the shortest day and you have a witness. Build a passage where the sun sits up on the balanced day and you have a witness. Witnesses outlive the argument. The official story of the human timeline likes its inventions local and late. Agriculture, then villages, then priests, then monuments that look at the sky. Australia ruins the sequence by being old in people and old in attention to stars, with a continuous culture that never needed to become a kingdom to keep a sky lore. Malta ruins the sequence by pouring temples out of limestone before the pyramids taught Europe to be impressed. Put the two ruins of the sequence in one frame, and the sequence fidgets. You do not have to choose, tonight, between they met and they didn't. You have to stop saying they have nothing to say to each other. Walk the egg at Little River in your head. East tip. The sides open toward the solstice deaths. West tip. 3 stones. Outliers beyond, like extra words in a sentence that only make sense at dusk. The basalt is local. The labor is human. The accuracy is a few degrees, which is the accuracy of a person who came back year after year, not the accuracy of a satellite. Walk the South Temple in your head. Sea glare. Limestone that holds the day's heat. A corridor that has one job in March and one job in September and does not care what language you bring. The labor is human. The accuracy, on the equinox mornings that still draw a crowd, is the kind that makes a skeptic shut up for a full minute. Now put the two walks on the same screen. Left. Sunset, Victoria, solstice, 3 stones. Right. Sunrise, Malta, equinox, 1 door. Left. Egg, 50 meters, 100 stones, 23 tons. Right. Temple, tons per slab, a complex, a cliff. They do not look like twins. They look like 2 answers to a question the sky keeps asking. The question is, when does the light turn? The people who answer it in rock are not primitive. They are busy. If this is independent invention, it is independent invention with a strangely similar checklist. If this is contact, the contact did not leave a bill of lading. Either way, the school wall between Aboriginal arrangement and Maltese temple is a filing error. The title promised you a perfect match. Here is the honest version of perfect. Not the same diameter, not the same chisel marks, not a secret identical floor plan under the dust, perfect as in the same 3 suns, the same refusal of metal, the same decision to hire a hillside and a horizon, far enough apart that a shared teacher would have to be older than the story we were given, or the sky itself. The sky is available to everyone. That is the boring miracle. The less boring miracle is that 2 communities, with no chapter in common, both decided the sky was worth a construction project that would still work when the language had changed. Wurdi Youang still works if you show up on the right dusk. Mnajdra still works if you show up on the right dawn. More than 15,000 kilometers apart, built by people the timeline keeps in separate rooms. If you felt the pull toward a single older knowledge, you felt what this channel is for. If you felt the pull toward a single human habit of watching the year, you felt the other half of the same thought. Either half is more interesting than the sentence that says these places have nothing to do with each other. If this comparison earned the hour, stay with ancient dreaming. Like the film so the next one can go as deep on a single pair, not a countdown. Subscribe, and step into the dream time. Tell us in the comments which side of the split you trusted first, the Victorian sunset or the Maltese door, and whether you think the sun taught them both or someone did. Thank you for watching.